Welcome to Why Game of Thrones Sucks, Season 7, Episode 6, Beyond the Wall. Or alternately, Just Standing There Talking, which is a much better name. It starts off with the Suicide Squad, Beyond the Wall, and they're just standing there talking. Jon Snow talks to just about everyone he's marching with during their very long trek. Tormund Giantsbane tells him to bend the knee. Clegane tells people that they should quit their bitching, which is advice every character in this show should take. It goes to Winterfell, where Arya and Sansa are just standing there talking, reminiscing about the past. Then Arya pulls out the scroll, threatens her. Sansa says she was only a child and you should be down on your knees thanking me. Arya is awesome but comes off completely lacking empathy. We go back to the Suicide Squad. It's more walking and more talking for quite some time. It's not very interesting. Then it goes to Daenerys and Tyrion. For a change of pace, they are sitting and talking. It's great. Daenerys goes on about not liking heroes. Tyrion goes on about people being in love with her, including Jon Snow. Their only reason for thinking Jon is in love with her is the fact that Jon looks at her longingly. Every time a man looks at a pretty girl, it does not mean he's in love. You're reading too much into this crap. Although that's probably how it's going to end up being written. It's stupid. That's not how love works. But whatever. Then they start arguing about the Tarleys again. He says just rulers don't, just burn people with dragons. And she says, it worked great for the other Targaryens. Which, yeah, it was awesome. It's why you don't have a throne. He wants her to think about the future. She says no. Her plan is to take the throne and then not worry about anything that comes after. Like any great leader. And I don't want heirs. When I die, I want there to be just another war of succession. She's going to be terrible. She really, really should lose. We go back to the Suicide Squad. They see a bear in the distance. It turns out to be a zombie bear. It chases the one guy. And then it either has teleportation powers or there is a second zombie bear. Because it just comes out of the side out of nowhere and kills that guy. They eventually hack it down after taking some wounds. And there is no second bear. So clearly it's the teleportation option. Because they don't worry about a second bear. They don't fight a second bear. He can just teleport around and he only used that ability one time. They cauterize Thawne's wounds and they carry on. Like nothing happened. We go back to Winterfell and a return to the just standing there and talking. It's Sansa and Littlefinger this time. He's being manipulative. She's prone to being manipulated because she's all mad that Arya doesn't trust her, which I think is reasonable at this point. She keeps listening to Littlefinger, and everyone seems to have caught on that he's an evil douchebag at this point, except for her. Someone should have killed him a long time ago. I'm really tired of his crap. And he's not really moving the plot forward at all, aside from maybe making the Stark girls fight. But it seems like they were going to do that anyway. So, kudos. Back to the Suicide Squad. Standing there and talking. This whole episode could have just been a podcast. You could just listen to the whole thing and know everything that happened and really miss nothing. Then they see a White Walker and some whites split off all by themselves, and they set an ambush. This is the first time we've seen them split off all by themselves. Usually they're in a roving horde, which is why this plan was so stupid in the first place. But they jump them, they fight. Jon Snow kills the White Walker, and all but one of the whites die. instantly. Now they only needed one white, so that was awfully convenient and nonsensical, but fine. And then they realize, oh, there is a big zombie horde over there. This plan was stupid. So they send Gendry, run back to Eastwatch, send a raven to Daenerys. When she gets the raven, she can fly here and find all of our corpses. Because this is a stupid plan. But Gendry goes running off. They run the other direction. Which, why would you run toward help? But apparently they knew that there was going to be a small rock island surrounded by very thin ice in the cold, cold Northland. The ice has not solidified yet. That is stupid. Another thing that is just done for the convenience of the plot. So much of this stuff makes absolutely no sense. They wait overnight, surrounded by the army of the White Walkers, who refuse to use bows, slings, spears, which we know they have, throw rocks, send a couple of guys across at a time. They don't try any of it. They just stand there and wait, which is ridiculous. Goes back to Winterfell and Sansa. She gets invited to King's Landing. She doesn't want to go, which is reasonable, given her past with King's Landing. So she sends Brienne of Tarth, who doesn't want to go because she does not trust Littlefinger around. And Sansa's just like, I'm a grown person and I'm the Lady of Winterfell, and throws a mini tantrum and tells Brienne to go, which is ridiculous and is going to backfire. They go to Tyrion, trying to convince Daenerys not to take the dragons and go save Jon Snow. But Daenerys doesn't listen. I don't know why she made him the Hand of the Queen. She never listens to anything he says. I think it's just so she can blame him for stuff. Like, they all got together, made the strategy, which cost them the Dornish and the Iron Islands. She had to approve them. She's the queen. The final decision was hers, but it's all his fault. She sucks. We go back to the Suicide Squad on their little rock island. They set Thawne on fire because he died. And then Clegane starts throwing rocks at him, which is a terrible idea. Apparently one rock hits the ice, doesn't fall through, and they think, well, we can all make it. And apparently they're right. Overnight, several inches of ice formed on this lake that wasn't frozen over when no one had walked on it in apparently years. But whatever, nothing's made sense this far. Why should it start now? This fucking show. They get swarmed. They're surrounded, they're outnumbered. They all should have been killed long before this dragon showed up. But Daenerys and the dragon show up, start breathing fire everywhere, which also would have killed all of these people she came to save. I mean, that fire is so hot, it has instantly turned people into ash. She's spraying it onto a lake. Sure, it's iced over, but that shit was gonna flash boil. Steam everywhere, they all would have died. But why start paying attention to laws of physics now? We have teleporting zombie bears, so it's fine. It magically didn't cause steam. Whatever. Then the Night King finally decides, hey, we have spears. Maybe I should use one. And apparently he could just stand atop the wall and throw spears at everyone in Westeros, because, man, he wings that thing right through a dragon, killing it. First cool thing to happen in the episode so far. Dead dragon, I approve. Jon tells him to just go without him, because for absolutely no reason whatsoever, he wandered away from the dragon instead of climbing on top of it. He's an idiot too. She takes off. Night King throws another spear, misses this time. Jon falls into the water, and we he would have died. People falling into water wearing their armor are going to sink. But somehow he just climbs back out, doesn't freeze to death like he would have. The giant army of zombies doesn't swarm him and kill him like they would have. Benjen appears out of nowhere, which isn't even the least ridiculous thing that's happened so far. Gives him a horse. They could have both got on the horse, but Benjen's like, no, it's fine. I'll die. You go. Jon still would have frozen to death. The zombies swarm Benjen, kill him. Jon shows up at Eastwatch, where everyone is gathered and apparently just decided to wait because clearly Jon had survived the giant army of zombies and falling into the frozen lake. So stupid. We go back to Winterfell, where Sansa decides to break into Arya's room this time. Sansa finds Arya's faces. Arya comes in, tells her about training with the Faceless and how those are her faces, and how she could take her face and become the Lady of Winterfell if she wanted. Thoroughly creeps her out. It's very entertaining. And then she just leaves. Jon wakes up in the ship with Dany sitting there. They're giving each other googly eyes because they haven't known each other that long. Clearly they should be in love. This is crappy, crappy writing. And now, after all of this, he's all, oh, I'll bend the knee, which I'm happy about, if for no other reason than maybe they'll stop saying bend the knee 147 times an episode. And she goes on and whines about how the dragons are her babies and one of them's dead, and boo-hoo. She is ridiculous. Then we go back to the Night King, where they pull the dead dragon out of the water. He resurrects it as a zombie dragon. It opens its big blue eye into the camera, and we roll credits. Finally, it's over. There's only one episode left. The trailer for it made it look like they're going to gather their armies together and then stand there and talk, which I'm sure is what's going to happen. Just standing there talking, part 2, the finale. So we'll see what happens, but this episode sucked. It made no sense when there was action, and the rest of it was just standing there talking. Thank God this is almost over.